From ABC, this is a special edition of World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. It has been a long week for much of the world, and it is only the first week. Last Wednesday night, whatever you were doing right about now, the war in the Persian Gulf was beginning. The first cruise missiles, the first stealth fighters were evading Iraqi radar and sweeping in to bomb the Iraqi capital and hundreds of other targets. Today in Washington, from the Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, an assessment of how it is going from their point of view. Very well from their point of view. We begin at the Pentagon with ABC's Bob Zelnick.
Secretary Cheney and Chairman Powell said that during the first week of war, Iraq's air defense system had been attacked and severely damaged. First, the early warning radar. Then the surface-to-air missile batteries and anti-aircraft guns had been hit. Now Iraq is operating from only 5 of its more than 50 air facilities. 41 of its planes have been destroyed. Hundreds of others are hidden under concrete bunkers.
No Iraqi airplane has conducted a single ground attack against any coalition target.
As a result, Powell said the U.S. can conduct air operations without significant interference from the Iraqis.
Allied air forces have achieved air superiority over not only the Kuwaiti theater of operations, but throughout the entire theater to include Iraq. That is not to say that a young pilot who is taking off will say, Powell says we have air superiority, I've got nothing to worry about. Not at all. We're dealing with an enemy that is resourceful.
The U.S. also used air power to attack some of Iraq's most dangerous projects, its nuclear program.
The 2 operating reactors they had are both gone. They're down. They're finished.
Also, facilities where chemical weapons agents are produced.
We have done considerable damage to their ability to continue producing chemical weapons.
To prove U.S. claims, Powell displayed sketches representing satellite photos used in bomb damage assessments rather than the photos themselves. This sketch shows a damaged bunker complex.
I've laundered them so you can't really tell what I'm talking about because I don't want the Iraqis to know what I'm talking about. But trust me, trust me.
Now, the air war turns increasingly to the more than 500,000 Iraqi troops in Kuwait and southern Iraq, including 150,000 elite Republican Guard forces.
Our strategy to go after this army is very, very simple. First, we're going to cut it off, and then we're going to kill it. If it becomes necessary, we are assembling a fairly sizable ground force that could finish off the job should that be necessary.
Like Iraq's Air Force, Powell said the Army has hunkered down, taking no offensive action. There are scattered reports of hard-hit units and low morale, but little proof.
You really don't know how you're doing against an army until that army tries to perform its function. If it's just sitting there taking the punishment, we know we're hurting it. We really don't know how badly we've hurt it until it starts to move or until it comes up on the radio so we can hear it talking to other units.
So the strategy is to keep pounding Iraq's army from the air until it can be determined how much of a ground campaign will be needed to drive Iraqi forces from Kuwait. And once ground forces are committed, Cheney hinted victory could come swiftly.
Although I'm inclined to think, given the size of the force we've deployed and the success we've enjoyed to date, that it won't take that long.
Neither Cheney nor Powell predicted an easy U.S. victory, but they did respond to critics who have been suggesting in recent days that a combination of bad weather and clever Iraqi tactics were threatening to bog the U.S. down. Peter?
Okay, Bob Zelnick, thanks very much. At the Pentagon, just as that news conference was coming to an end at the Pentagon, the air raid sirens started to wail again in Israel and Saudi Arabia. 1 Scud missile was launched at Israel. A U.S. Patriot missile destroyed it. 3 explosions could be heard and seen over Dhahran in Saudi Arabia. It appears that Patriots also destroyed whatever number of Scuds were fired there. Well, the Scuds were a reminder, if one was needed, that Saddam Hussein still has the ability to lash out. Many military analysts in and out of active military service are more than somewhat curious about Saddam Hussein's strategy for next week and beyond. Here's our national security correspondent, John McCarthy.
Before the war, President Bush said Saddam Hussein did not understand what he would be hit with if he refused to get out of Kuwait. Now analysts say the Iraqi leader did anticipate much of it, and as a result has managed to preserve many of his military assets.
Well, they've been in their positions for around 5 months. You can dig very deep in 5 months. You can also disperse, and you can put in dummy targets that can divert our attention from the things we really want to go after. And I think Hussein may be very shrewdly riding this out.
There may well be surprises ahead for us. No one should assume that Saddam Hussein does not have significant remaining military capability.
The chairman of the Joint Chiefs credits Iraq with many more combat planes than previously disclosed. Iraq has 800, he says, and the U.S. has thus far destroyed just 41. Many aircraft have been dispersed to primitive airfields in the north, even to highways or to fortified shelters. Iraq came into this war with a land force of nearly 1 million men. It is still very much intact. Even if Iraqi troops are softened up by repeated airstrikes, a ground war, if it comes, would be very rough.
It'll be dirty, bloody, and horrible. And there will be a lot of people killed and wounded. That will be a new ball game via the media to the American public.
A week into the war, Saddam Hussein still has an unknown number of Scud missiles to use as weapons of terror.
They can hide in the desert, they can come out at night and launch. It doesn't require any great degree of sophistication for them to be able to operate, and it's one of those problems that may be with us for some period of time.
So far, none of the Scud missiles has carried a chemical warhead, either because they don't exist or because Iraq has chosen not to use them for the moment. But if a ground war begins, analysts worry that chemical weapons will be used, launched as part of artillery barrages or from aircraft. And finally, Iraq has yet to play the terrorist card, which Saddam Hussein has repeatedly threatened he will use before all this is over. American analysts insist that Saddam Hussein cannot win on the battlefield, but they admit in losing, he still has the capability to inflict tremendous damage. Peter?
John, someone called us a few minutes ago to remind us that when President Eisenhower was a general, he said, every war is going to astonish you. What worries the analysts most?
I think it is the unpredictable elements that Saddam Hussein has shown he is capable of doing. He, of course, still has the terrorist element. He still has the chemical weapons element. They don't know how he is going to employ those tools, those different threats, but that's the sort of thing that they fear.
So knowing the weapons, but not the man.
Well, knowing the weapons, and of course the man, as you know, has been a tremendous puzzle all along.
Okay, John McCarthy of the State Department, thank you. In a moment, we'll talk to our resident military analyst, Tony Cordesman. We'll talk about today's air war over Iraq. Did U.S. bombs damage a milk plant or a biological weapons factory? And another missile attack on Israel, this time unsuccessful.
Bill, you're not even dressed. Put your tie on. Here. What's the matter? Oh, a bad headache. Here. The doctor told me about this. Motrin IB. Same medicine as in prescription Motrin in non-prescription strength. One works as well as 2 regular Tylenol. You know, honey, we're going to have a great time tonight.
Motrin IB, recommended by thousands of doctors.
And your wife.
Call me irresponsible.
The Subaru Legacy with full-time 4-wheel drive and anti-lock brakes. Since the next guy is capable of almost anything, shouldn't the same be true of your next car?
To help relieve her heartburn, regular Rolaids uses an aluminum salt, but his antacid is Tums, and Tums has calcium.
Something my body needs anyway. I like that.
Tums. At his military briefing today, General Powell, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said unequivocally that the United States has air superiority over the Iraqis, and he said, and I taught it at one point. Joining us tonight, our military analyst, Tony Cordesman in Washington. Tony Cordesman, take us slowly through why America has air superiority now.
Well, first, Peter, if we look over here, we can see we've destroyed most of their maintenance facilities, weapons of mass destruction.
Tony, hang on for a second. We haven't got a good shot of that. Okay, go ahead.
If you look at those skulls and crossbones, we've gotten rid of most of their major weapons of mass destruction, production facilities. We've hit at many of their command sites. We've been able to do that in spite of all those red airplanes, which represent major air bases. We couldn't have conducted thousands of strikes without losing a single plane to air-to-air combat, without having air superiority. And if we look at the air bases in Iraq, we see how many there really are. Now, it's true that we've only damaged or destroyed about 40 confirmed kills out of 809 aircraft. But we have virtually stopped those air bases from operating, not destroyed them. There are still shelters, the aircraft are often intact, and the runways can be repaired, but by and large, they're not generating any air capability.
Let me assume that Saddam Hussein at some point in the war says, it's now time to put my Air Force up and have a go at the Allied forces. Can he do it?
He can put them up probably once or twice, but as Israel demonstrated in the Bekaa in 1982, if you don't have ground-controlled radars, if you don't have central direction, all you have is a shooting gallery, and you're going to lose your Air Force very, very quickly.
That was when the Israelis knocked down about 81 Syrian planes in the course of a week, right?
That's right. And the other thing is we've suppressed most of their major surface-to-air missile launchers. Those cover a good part of Iraq. It's a very impressive map to see the circle of coverage. And yet, when you look at that map, most of their major long-range surface-to-air missiles do not seem to be operating anymore, although some may be held in reserve outside areas we can target. So in that sense, we have air superiority and the ability to fly flexibly and conduct strikes over virtually the entire country.
So there was a lot of talk today also now about bringing Allied assets, as they're called, to bear on the ground forces in Kuwait. What should we be looking for?
Well, we're moving into a new and much more difficult phase of the war. We've already conducted some 12,000 sorties, but now we're going to shift the weight of our attacks to hunting out individual land units, their supply lines, their supply depots, their command and control facilities, their long-range artillery. Particularly, we have to destroy all of that to be able to move smoothly into their forward defenses. Their forward surface-to-air defenses, which would be what would inhibit our Apaches, the A-10s, and other close air support aircraft that can kill their tanks. And we're going to take substantially more casualties. At the same time, we're going to get less productive sorties because we're killing smaller systems that can hide more easily, and we're going to get less per kill.
Okay, Tony Cordesman in Washington, thank you very much. During that news conference at the Pentagon this afternoon, General Powell agreed that the weather in the Gulf region has been worse than they had planned for. Some missions had been canceled. Estimates of bomb damage have been affected. Now, as the war enters the second week, the weather is getting better. ABC's Bill Redeker is in Saudi Arabia.
Just beautiful. Look, we're breaking out in the clear. There's 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, this is going to work real good today.
For the second day in a row, pilots reported good weather for combat.
Yeah, target area clear, so it looks like we're up for a good day here.
Another 2,000 sorties were flown in the past 24 hours. That brought the total for the week to 12,000 missions. But only half of them involved combat.
Approximately 6,000 were combat, and 6,000 were combat support, such as refueling and command and control.
Because the Pentagon says 80% of the combat missions have been successful, it means pilots have hit or damaged their targets about 5,000 times. But air wing commanders and admirals at sea say that's not enough. Iraq has a huge inventory of military targets still to be destroyed.
So we're getting what we're aiming at. The real ones we want to hit, we're hitting. And the ones we're trying to get, we're close, or close enough, but we have to continue to go back, to continue to take out the rest of it. I mean, there's just a lot out there.
How much is still out there, the military won't say, claiming that the weather is good enough to fly in, but not good enough to assess battle damage by satellite and aerial reconnaissance. Before the war began, the Air Force predicted the Allies would lose 25 planes for every 5,000 combat sorties. So far, the rate of loss has been lower than that. But the British have lost more than their share. 5 high-speed, low-flying tornadoes so far. That's because their mission, attacking well-defended Iraqi airfields at altitudes as low as 200 feet, is among the most dangerous of the war.
We obviously seem very confident, but we have the same emotions as any human being. And Perhaps if you feel you're about to die, then you're scared. And Gary and I have both been very scared.
On the Iraqi border, a 2-day, 2-night artillery and rocket duel sent Marines into their bunkers, where they too talked about the fear of initial combat, its sights, its sounds.
To actually feel the first one, actually see the first one. It's kind of scary. Anybody that says not scary, well, there's something wrong.
By daybreak, the skirmish was over. 2 Marines had suffered minor injuries. 6 Iraqis have been taken prisoner on the Saudi side of the border. But it was only a skirmish. The war is still being fought almost entirely from the air, and that is not likely to change for a long time. Bill Redeker, ABC News, Saudi Arabia.
We'll continue our coverage in just a moment.
Everybody needs some money sometime. Everybody needs some cash somehow.
Hello, dear. To send money fast by phone, call 1-800-CALL-CASH or come to any of Western Union's 16,000 convenient locations.
My sometime is now.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
In time, all definitions must be revised. But when it came to redefining luxury, it wasn't a Webster, it was Oldsmobile, the all-new 98. Now you can have anti-lock brakes, fuel-efficient power, computerized suspension, technology found in cars costing thousands more, which by my definition could be the greatest luxury of all. And you can always take a Webster at his word.
This is the new 98, luxury redefined. Generation of Olds.
Dale Earnhardt, why are you getting your oil changed at a GM dealership?
The fast or free guarantee.
Fast or free?
Yep, takes 29 minutes or less, or my next one's free. Gotta go now.
And Earnhardt's back in record time.
Mr. Goodwrench Quick Lube Plus. Try it for a change.
I swim, I jog. I love junk food. Sometimes even I get constipation.
When it happens to you, X-Lax pills give you a choice. Extra gentle for a little help, regular for a little more. X-Lax, for regular people who sometimes aren't.
Iraq and the United States are involved in the first major debate about a target. The Iraqis say that civilian targets are being hit. This morning in Baghdad, authorities tried to prove the point by taking the few remaining journalists left in the city to a factory, a visit that has made the Bush administration very angry. Here's ABC's Britt Hume.
A focus of administration attention today was a report from Baghdad by CNN's Peter Arnett, describing bomb damage to what Iraq claims is a baby milk plant. Complete, you will note, with uniforms proclaiming it as such in English, not Arabic. This videotape was shot on an earlier tour of the plant, but Arnett was brought back for a look yesterday.
And the machinery inside was a molten pile. An official said it had been producing 20 tons of powdered milk a day. It was the only source of infant formula food for children 1 year and younger in Iraq.
That brought a strong administration response. White House Press Secretary Marlin Fitzwater said, quote, "That factory is in fact a production facility for biological weapons." Fitzwater was not the only U.S. official to react.
Apparently this facility, by what we've just learned, has military guards around it, barbed wire fence. It has a military garrison outside.
Arnett's report, however, made with a censor at his side, seemed to dispute that.
But it was a plant alongside the main highway leading to Jordan. There was one guard at the gate. It looked innocent enough from what we could see.
This afternoon, Joint Chiefs Chairman Powell tried to put the matter to rest.
It is not an infant formula factory, no more than the Rabta chemical plant in Libya made aspirin. It was a biological weapons facility, of that we are sure, and we have taken it out.
In fact, Arnett never said the plant was making milk and not weapons. He said that's what Iraqi officials had told him, and he described what they allowed him to see. That may be all a reporter in an enemy capital surrounded by censors can do. Britt Hume, ABC News, the White House.
At the Mayport Naval Station in Florida today, Vice President Quayle told families of troops serving in the Gulf that the U.S. will hold Saddam Hussein personally accountable for the treatment of prisoners of war. He also met privately with the families of some men who have been taken prisoner or who have been killed. We'll be back in a moment.
There goes my stomach again.
but I've had it up to here with this antacid taste.
Then get great flavor up to here with the rich, fruity taste of Extra Strength Maalox Plus Cherry Cream. Up to here with the fresh, minty taste of Mint Cream. And up to here with the zesty lemon taste of Lemon Swiss Cream. The strongest antacid tastes the best too. Extra Strength Maalox Plus. Strong relief for all of your Maalox moments.
Maalox, you're the best.
How early is too early to plan for your retirement? All things considered, right now is not too early for most people to talk with Merrill Lynch. You're going to need about 60% of your pre-retirement income to retire comfortably. And we have ways you may not even have thought about to help you build for that goal. When should you start planning for retirement? Well, even this is not too early. Merrill Lynch, we're bullish on your financial future.
Sweetheart, I've got 2 surprises for you. First, Honey Nut Cheerios is made with nutritious whole grain oats. And second, I wrecked the car.
What? Nutritious whole grain oats? Surprisingly, Honey Nut Cheerios is more than just delicious nuts and honey. It's made with nutritious whole grain oats. Whole grain oats? I'm going to go buy some more.
Taxi? It's a Honey Nut Cheerio.
Question: how can you help stop America's growing dependence on foreign oil? Slow down. It can save over 4 million gallons of gasoline a day. Let's put our energy into saving it. Introducing the most advanced Tegrin ever. New advanced formula Tegrin Dandruff Shampoo. Clinically shown to control the leading causes of itching and flaking. New richer, thicker, advanced formula Tegrin.
Aren't you just itching to try it?
For the 4th time in 5 days, the Iraqis have attacked Israel. This time, the U.S. Patriot missiles deployed in Israel worked the way they were supposed to. Here's ABC's Dean Reynolds.
Several Patriot missile interceptors aimed and operated by American soldiers destroyed an Iraqi Scud missile tonight as it bore down on the Israeli port city of Haifa. It was the Patriot's first success in Israel.
And this was a successful interception in which the Scud missile exploded in mid-air.
But 24 hours earlier, another Scud attack managed to wreak considerable damage on the Tel Aviv area. The military here said the Patriot, which was manned last night by Israeli soldiers, did actually hit the incoming Scud, but only deflected it.
We don't really yet know the reason. Probably just bad luck.
Today, residents of the stricken neighborhood had the look of refugees. For blocks around, windows were blown out, electric power was gone, and people were salvaging what they could and moving on. Government ministers said nothing to the press today. Sources said they decided Israel will hold its fire for now. But people died here last night. One of them, 70-year-old Abraham Moldavsky, a veteran of World War II from the Soviet Union, was literally scared to death, killed by a heart attack as his home collapsed around him. Each Iraqi strike and every Israeli casualty makes it difficult for the government here to keep to its policy of restraint, a policy that recognizes, at least for now, that retaliating against Saddam Hussein would be playing into his hands. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
The commander of American forces in the Gulf, General Norman Schwarzkopf, said again today that the Scud missile is militarily unimportant. The Scud, he says, is nothing more than a terror weapon, of which many Israelis are certain. Here's ABC's John Donvan.
The strain does not show so much in the daytime. Still traveling everywhere with their gas masks in a box, most Israelis are back at their jobs. In a poll a few days ago, most actually said they were feeling good, and some are feeling defiant. Like a violinist with the Israel Philharmonic, who said during rehearsals this week, "Saddam Hussein wants us trembling in our homes. We won't give him the pleasure." But at night, it is different. For the first time, Israelis are being attacked without hitting back. Grown-ups feel helpless, a feeling they cannot get used to. Their children are having nightmares. In Tel Aviv, Shiri Golon is not coping as well as her brothers and sisters.
It's really terrifying. I get those times when I get really hysteric. I just feel like crying and so on. I don't know why. It's something psychological.
Psychologists are already working with children whose homes have been damaged by Iraqi missiles. One of these children in Tel Aviv said he would never go back to his home.
And he said, no, I'm never going again because it will happen again. That I will die, and my mother will die, and my father will die, and my brother Golan will die, and my little sister will die.
In a Jerusalem preschool group, children are decorating their gas masks to make them less frightening. Even then, they do not forget the war.
Well, these are missiles. This is a rocket.
Yet despite Israelis' feelings that they are sitting ducks, few are pressuring their government to strike back at Iraq right now.
I think that Israelis in the arts want Israel to react, but I know that the wise thing to do is not to react because it's not our war.
One poll says that 94% of Israelis support their government in this crisis. But others put their faith elsewhere. These religious students refused to take shelter during one attack, believing more in God than in gas masks. John Donvan, ABC News, Jerusalem.
In Turkey today, on Iraq's northern border, explosions damaged 2 buildings owned by American companies. This in the city of Istanbul. Notes were left claiming the bombings were meant to protest Turkey's involvement in the war. The NATO base at Incirlik in southeastern Turkey is being used to launch American air raids on Iraq. In Beirut, a security guard was killed when bombs exploded at 2 banks, one owned by the French and the other by the Saudis. We'll be back in just a moment.
Did you know only 1-800 service is guaranteed if something keeps you from getting calls? Only AT&T automatically protects you with our 800 assurance policy. Now we can reroute your 800 calls faster than ever, in 30 minutes or less. 800 calls that get through. Another AT&T advantage.
Once a year, the automotive world holds its breath awaiting the announcement of its most prestigious award. From all the new models to choose from, only one car dominated the competition in rigorous tests to earn the 1991 Motor Trend Car of the Year award. The Chevrolet Caprice Classic. It's simply breathtaking.
I get this awful sinus pain.
These sinus pain formulas all made news in the 80s. They all have the same medicine. Today's news is Dristan Sinus, the only sinus medicine with ibuprofen.
It relieves my sinus pain wherever it strikes.
New Dristan Sinus.
You know, that sign wasn't up there for more than 3 days. And bingo.
I've never seen a house move so fast. I've never seen a real estate outfit move so fast.
We're prepared to get the results you're looking for. The Prudential, you know us, we know real estate.
If there weren't a war on the Persian Gulf, this would almost certainly have been the lead item on tonight's broadcast. The Secretary of the Treasury, Nicholas Brady, says the cost of bailing out the savings and loan industry will be vastly more than had been anticipated. It is now $80 billion and counting. Mr. Brady asked Congress for more money today. Here's our economics editor, Stephen Ogg.
Treasury Secretary Nicholas Brady said he needs $30 billion to keep taking over insolvent S&Ls and paying off depositors through the end of September. Otherwise, the bailout will run out of cash by March.
The fact is that this is not a discretionary matter. If we do not act, depositors will be left hanging.
Most of the senators agreed with Republican Jake Garn that they must give the Resolution Trust Corporation what it wants.
Let's give them the amount of money, and if they don't do it right, we can haul them back here and squeeze them and twist them and ask all the questions we want. But you can't dry it up and choke them to death, and that's what we've been doing for 6 years.
What the administration really wants is open-ended authority to spend whatever is necessary to clean up the S&L mess without going back to Congress every time it needs more money. That's something the administration is not likely to get. Stephen Ogg, ABC News, Washington.
On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrials gained more than 15 points to close at 2619. The trading was moderate. We'll be back in a moment with the second half of World News Tonight. Refugees leaving Iraq with stories about life under attack. and the debate about information, the press, and Congress.